I've always believed that food can connect everyone. James Beard once said that food is our common ground, a universal experience. Meals have brought families, friends, strangers, and even enemies to the same table to share in a communal eating experience. Every culture has its own customs, but the basics are really all the same. So I invited a few friends to bring some traditional dishes so we could share in a community meal. You all ready to eat? Yes, you are. I am. Here we go. That looks amazing.
We realized we were really isolated in our social group, even though we're friendly people and we're involved in the community. We didn't have a real close relationship with a Hindu couple, a Buddhist couple. So it's just been a real joy to meet just people from different backgrounds. And you find out that yes, there are a lot of similarities, but there are differences, cultural differences that are quite interesting when you share stories and hear about their traditions.
We have found through this eating with other people that we're much more alike than different, that their traditions, if not exactly the same as ours, certainly follow a common theme, or they echo many of the same themes. That family is important, you eat your meals together, you learn a lot.
I consider myself a Southern cook, and I grew up, I had 3 siblings, and then my mom was a fabulous cook, and everything was made from scratch, everything. She made biscuits and pancakes, and the food was so delicious and simple. So as I began to cook, and I had 3 children, and they were hungry all the time, and the chicken and roast vegetables, it was good. I could make it with kind of whatever I had in the refrigerator. And so I probably made it once a week till my kids were just sick to death of it. But it was an easy thing to do. So basically, I would start with the chicken, and I would rinse it off and pat it dry, and then rub it with olive oil. It helps to crisp up the skin after it's cooked. So I would take the chicken and just rub it, very generously. And then I used these big roaster pans growing up, and you could really roast it in anything, but I love this big pan because you could add vegetables all the way around. And then generously salt and pepper and season it up. I love tarragon. It's really, really mild, and you just cannot go wrong with a lot of tarragon on a slow-baked chicken. And I like to use the larger pan because there's more room, as I said, to add your vegetables. I love to put, garlic, onion. I typically would do 3 cloves of garlic, 1 to 2 onions chopped, and then always had carrots, because I think that's just a good base. At this point, I would go in and start cooking it. I'll take it out after about an hour, check it, and then add some more vegetables. Today I used some zucchini squash and added some yellow squash, and I thought that made it really pretty. But many times when I was super busy and needed everything in one pot, I would also throw new potatoes in there and maybe a bag of green beans. They could be frozen or fresh. And literally you could pull it out of the oven 2.5, 3 hours later, and you have everything in there, and it's all cooked and caramelized.
The Indian festival of lights called Diwali is an ancient and major holiday. It celebrates the victory of light over darkness. It's a vibrant occasion in every aspect, but it's the food that really captures the spirit of it all.
This has been a very nice process for us because it helps us understand the perspective of other faiths and other religions. So it kind of helps bridge a lot of the gaps. And ultimately, we are very good friends now. So that, I think, is really what it is that you love it.
Friendship is beyond religion.
Right. Love is universal, and that's what is beautiful. And you can feel for yourself that it's universal. And so we look forward to actually meeting other people, other religions. The only thing is we're vegetarians, so, so that's a little drawback, but otherwise we're looking forward to everything.
Today we are cooking mango cilantro rice. Start with putting oil and on the stove and put it on medium heat. We put mustard, which is really, it's got medicinal value of anti-carcinogenic, so it's good for your health, at least that's what I heard. And then when you put mustard, sometimes it splatters, so it's good to keep splatter guard. Next is you put black gram dal. It's also called urad dal. You can find in Indian store. And then you put Bengal gram dal. These are all lentils. And then put it to low flame. And then this is red chilies, which is, you just split into two. And this is green chilies, which are cut lengthwise. And these are high in curcumin, which is anti-inflammatory. And then this is asafoetida, hing, which is gives you flavor, and also it's a food preservative. And then this is well done brown, and this is turmeric, which is also antioxidant as well as anti-inflammatory, which is good for muscle pain and things like that, and it gives a good color too. And finally, we put grated mangoes, which is 1 cup for 1 cup of rice. And you mix it, and I put salt with it so that it gets well mixed. And I put it on still low flame, and I mix it up. It's kind of well mixed. Now I'm going to cut the flame. Now it's time to mix all of them together. The rice is already been cooked, so we are going to put all this rice. And then we put this mango mixture, and then we put peanuts. And we put coriander, chopped coriander. Save half of it for garnish and mix up well. Mix it up enough so that you don't have the white rice showing too much. It should be kind of yellow. The grated mangoes and the turmeric will change the white rice into a nice yellow color. It's ready to be served on a serving platter now.
Every region of the world has its own stew or soup, and our friends from the south in Mexico, they call it pozole. Cinthya, this is amazing.
Great. I'm originally from Guadalajara, Mexico. I moved to the United States almost 16 years ago. This is a great opportunity for me to expand the circle of people that I know here, and also to get to know people from another culture. If they are like me, they probably chose something that they really, really enjoy. This is a dish that my mom cooks for a special occasion. So pozole for us evokes a celebration. It's a time for family, for people coming together. I cook the onion with a little bit of olive oil until the onion is a little bit yellow. I add some of the other spices, the garlic, the chili powder, oregano, and at that moment you start smelling all of this delicious smells from the spices. It's so interesting how the smells and textures make memories in your mind that just do not fade away very quickly. Once that is warmed, then you add the broth. You can see it has a nice color. And lastly, you add the honey to it. This is an important element of the Mexican culture. Corn is used as a symbol in art and literature, in religious ceremonies for both the Aztecs and the Mayans. So it is of great significance for the culture. For this particular recipe, I chose to do chicken, but you could do turkey meat or pork if you prefer. So you add it to the soup. Just stir it a little bit and then cover it up and let it simmer for 30 minutes. And after 30 minutes, if you just check on it for salt and pepper, make sure that it is to your preference. And after that, you're just ready to serve it and garnish it in your own personal way.
Thank you, Indu. Traditional meals are often a family affair, with recipes being handed down from generation to generation. Lucky is the person who gets some of these recipes to share, like Angela Sanders Looney with her mother's Thai coconut chicken curry.
People do need to sit down and communicate. It's not just color of their skin. I mean, everybody needs to communicate and say, it's not just for you, not me, and it's us.
I just think it's important that people experience other cultures, because we're not the only ones here. We need, like Mom said, take into account that, there's you and there's me, and we're not the same, but together we can find a commonality. And a lot of times it's over food. Today we're making Thai chicken coconut curry. It's a dish that when I was growing up, that a lot of times it would be like, oh, what's Mom gonna cook today? Oh, well, it's gonna be chicken coconut curry. So it's one of those memory evoking recipes too. The first step would be to take your 1/4 cup of coconut oil and melt it in your medium high heat stock pot. Then you add your curry paste. This is a full 4-ounce can, because we like it spicy, but if your tolerance level isn't that high, you can certainly use a 1/4 can or a 1/2 can, whatever your taste is. And we're going to just kind of stir this and get the basis of a roux. And you can definitely start to smell it. And now we're gonna add just a little bit of our coconut milk. And then reserve the rest, and we'll add it here in just a little bit. So now we've kind of got the basis of our sauce, and we're gonna add our chicken. And we've used chicken here, but you can also use beef or pork or whatever meat you prefer. And at this point, you can also add your fish sauce and give it a good stir. You can see where the chicken is starting to get done. Now we're gonna add the rest of the coconut milk. And I'm one of those that likes to scrape out every last bit. The thing about this dish is it's really kind of customizable. You can, make it as spicy as you want or not. And if you happen to make it too spicy, the recipe actually calls for 2 cans of coconut milk. But if you find that you've actually put in a little too much curry, then you can add some extra coconut milk and dilute it a little bit. I'm gonna add the bamboo. I'm just gonna pull it over here. Now this is strip bamboo. You can use this, or if you can't find strips, which a lot of times you can find in the Oriental food stores, you can most certainly use sliced. It really doesn't matter. You're really just kind of going for that taste and texture. Then as far as some of the garnish, we use the kaffir lime leaves. It's got a very distinct floral citrusy aroma. You can smell the citrus when you rub the leaves. Do not let it prevent you from making the recipe if you don't have it or can't find it. Just if you do, don't eat it when you cook with it. And then of course we used some basil for garnish. You can actually cook some of the basil in as well as the red bell pepper just for color, but we're not really cooking it per se. We're just kind of adding it in for color and just making it look pretty.
Now I've got a traditional recipe of my own that's cooking upstairs. But before I take it out of the oven, why don't we hear what some of our guests thought about the meal?
I love the Thai curry. That was very nice of them to, I tasted it with the rice. It was very good.
It was very, very good. Everything was fantastic, but I guess it opened my eyes a little bit to vegetarian cuisine and how flavorful and delicious it can be.
I enjoyed the Mexican soup, although it has a different name. Cinthya made it. It was handed down from her mother.
Well, it was all spicier than we normally have because they just put a lot more spice in it, even though they toned it down for us. It was really hot.
I think it's exciting. I found this to be a very good experience. It's exciting to meet new people. It's exciting to come together around food. And then when you have delicious dishes like this, you can't go wrong.
Just eating with different cultures was so fun, and I love talking to different people about their background.
Oh, it was fun.
It was fun. We don't really feel like they're strangers, like we know them.
It's great to meet new people and, just to mingle and learn with P. Allen, and he's so kind and so nice.
Want to learn more? Visit pallensmith.com for delicious recipes, garden tips, blog posts, and our online store. Now, dinner wouldn't be complete without dessert, so I'm providing a Smith family recipe in the way of a buttermilk pecan pie with whipped cream. I just have to say thanks to all of you for bringing your food traditions today. It's wonderful, and I wish you peace and joy with all your meals in the future. And thank you for joining us for this very special dinner. Until next time, I'm Alan Smith. Okay, who's up for some pie? All right.